Thanks for joining us. Today's Elko Live, falling on a Tuesday as it is our update in regular city news in advance of this afternoon's regular council meeting. So pleased to feature our city manager, Jan Baum, in studio today. I'm your host, Lori Gilbert. Jan, it's great to see you.
Well, thank you, Lori, and it's good to see you as well, and enjoying this little cooler weather and a little moisture, but the humidity. I'm not used to that, right?
Exactly. And it should be nice. I mean, it is cooler now. It should be nice in time for the fair and the livestock show and dinner in the park Thursday. I know, Beats and Bites. This town is just cranking here in this last week of August. So
it's great. I love all of our activities.
Yes, it's a city to be proud of. And so our city manager is going to walk us through this afternoon's regular council meeting agenda. It does start with the redevelopment agency meeting. That starts at 3. And did you want to bring us up to speed on that, Jan?
Oh, sure. So actually the RDA meeting agenda doesn't have a ton of meat to it. I think last meeting was a little more exciting with the Elko in and going forward with that process. But this one, there's a consent agenda item just to move along one of their grants, and then a proposal for an infrastructure grant or two. And the infrastructure grant, what those are made for or intended to do is help businesses to upgrade like ADA requirements and some things like that. So those can be expensive items for a new business. And when you remodel, usually you do need to bring a business up to ADA compliance, and that can be expensive. And so it's the RDA's intention to help businesses prosper and for them to come up to compliance. So they assist and match for infrastructure grants. And so there's a couple of those there, and really that's about it. I think that Kathy will be updating the RDA, on their financial situation and where they are. They're doing great, and she'll probably give an update on the corridor project, which everybody is well aware that we're doing. It's a big project, and they're really moving along. They're on Commercial Street between 4th and 5th right now, and please remember, those businesses are open, and we need to be cognizant of that and support those downtown businesses during this construction. And we're really trying to make sure that you have parking out front of those businesses and that you have access to those businesses. And I believe they should be pouring concrete. I can't remember if it was this week or next, but hopefully we'll be getting through with the commercial between 4th and 5th, and then they'll move to commercial from 5th to 6th.
It is an exciting project. I've got to be downtown Sunday night. Jan Peterson, our local historian, she had a guided walking history tour of Elko's early days.
Oh, how fun.
It was really fun. And so we got to talk about that. Again, the infrastructure grants, not in those particular words, but just how many changes and improvements. And some of the Elko businesses have chosen to go back to a more authentic look downtown. And as you said, when you upgrade those old buildings, you want to preserve that vintage feel, but at the same time, meet the new requirements. So that's great with the infrastructure. It's a general improvement district, just for listeners' benefit. And so it's not an extra tax. It's just a tax that's reserved for this purpose.
Absolutely, yes. That's what the redevelopment area is for. And they, in addition to the infrastructure grants, they also have the storefront grants. And those have been, you can really see the product of the storefront grants downtown. So if a business wants to, upgrade the look of their business on the outside and the storefront, then the RDA will reimburse them for, I believe, up to 50%, up to $50,000. So it's a nice grant. And honestly, as we're going along with the downtown corridor construction project, it's been a good opportunity to also mention the storefront and the infrastructure grants to the business owners as we go along.
Yeah, those facade improvements have made a huge difference in the confidence and therefore the economy of downtown. And the sidewalk looks amazing in the places where it's finished, Jan. And I mean, knock on wood, but we haven't heard a lot of drama. I think most of our downtown businesses are completely aware of the improvements. It's not not just new sidewalk, but curb gutter sidewalk, the utilities, so many improvements that come with the $2.2 million price tag that is from their existing tax increment. They didn't have to pay extra for the improvements.
No, they absolutely didn't. There will be, the businesses downtown will not have to contribute to this construction progress, and but hopefully in the end they will benefit immensely from it, and just that, the better look, but also safety for their patrons, and I think it'll be really great once it's finished. I believe the finish date is end of October, beginning of November. I do believe that there's been an extension of a week or two, but besides that, I think they're on track.
Jen, I just thought of this too. So many things are happening this week, but we do have a parade downtown Elko Friday starting at 11. It's the Lions Club Fair Parade. It's such a wonderful tradition. It's a beautiful parade to be a part of. But I think there might be some changes, right, to the parade route because of the construction?
Yes, absolutely. So actually, on the city council agenda, in the consent agenda, there is... we are asking for permission from the city council to change parade routes as we go along with this construction process. And so usually the parade does go down commercial between 4th and 5th. And it will not be able to do that. And so I believe they will come up 5th Street instead of coming up 4th. And so, yes, there'll have to be some adjustments in the parade routes, but there will still be a parade.
Yes, there will still be a parade. Might be a block shorter if you consider it that way, but you'll still have the judges stand right there in front of the Elko County Courthouse. That's typical, and then it will make its way up to where it turns, and a lot of the participants do head to the fairgrounds for the opening of the fair, the livestock show this weekend. So a lot of things to look forward to.
It'll be a busy weekend. Are you a judge by chance?
I get to be announcer of the parade, so I'm so excited.
Congratulations.
For that.
That's
you.
wonderful.
Yes.
That'll be fun.
It's always an honor.
Great
That's
tradition.
One of my favorites, along with the Nevada Day Parade, which is hopefully this will all be finished by then, but if not, you can make adjustments as you go.
Absolutely. And
Perfect.
they just kind of wanted to ask council for a blanket, permission to change until that project's finished.
Perfect. Jan Baum is our Elko City Manager, so we're going over the agenda in advance of the meeting. That's the RDA meeting. That's at 3. That may or may not finish up. They usually finish up before the regular council meeting, honestly.
Absolutely. So. And with this agenda, I would believe that they will be finished well before the city council meeting begins at 4 o'clock.
So on to the regular meeting agenda today. There'll be, let's see, I just wanted to see, that's already in there. We just discussed that in the consent agenda, adjusting the parade route. Oh, and we know that labor negotiations are ongoing between the City of Elko and the Elko Police Officers Protective Nevada Association of Public Safety Officer Communications Workers of America. So I know that you're limited in what you can say. These are closed door sessions. But since it's back on the agenda, should city residents feel okay? Should we be worried about anything, Jan? Is everything okay in the negotiations?
Yes, and you're right. There's not a lot I can say because it is a confidential process. But we are working through the process. And as far as the residents, wondering if everything's okay. Yeah, I think everything is okay. We have a patrol unit and a sergeant unit that we are very proud of, that we respect highly, and we're working through the process. And so it's our obligation to keep council in, keep them informed, and so that's what we will be doing this evening.
And again, these negotiations, they are confidential by law, but any action resulting will be decided in the public setting of the city council meeting, whether or not it's this meeting or a future meeting. So, and usually the rub has to do with, benefits, ongoing benefits, could be salaries, could be any other issue. But those things will come out in the wash, as they say, right?
Absolutely. And one of the biggest issues that is going on, I believe it's statewide, this year, the Public Employee Retirement System, PERS, they came out with a very large increase for public safety. And per our contracts that are public knowledge anyway, the way that our PERS works is if there's an increase, it's split between the employees in the city. And the increase that was pushed down from the PERS system as of July 19th or 20th, I believe, for public safety employees, which include police and fire, was 8.75%.
Wow. And that's
big.
That's big. Public Employees Retirement System, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the percentage that's paid into both the city and the employee contribute to that, right?
Absolutely. That 8.75%. So as a whole, and then we've gone through this in the budget and been very transparent about it, but as a whole, for public safety, for every dollar that the city pays to an employee, they pay 58 cents additional for pension costs. And so it's very costly. And the state PERS system pushes these increases down to municipalities and counties, and it's their responsibility to cover the cost for it.
Yes, and just so listeners fully understand, again, the reality that I think law enforcement or others feel in this situation is that they're getting a pay cut because they do have to contribute more, so they're getting a smaller paycheck for the work that they're doing, and therefore the negotiation comes in.
Absolutely, and be mindful that. There are also COLAs and step increases for union members, and so we're it's just a discussion and a negotiation, and we need to work through that. And so the way that the NRS is written, there are a couple ways to cover those PERS, and the City of Elko and our union agreements have written in them that those PERS increases are split.
All right, Jan, thank you again for the update, our city manager. In the interest of transparency, again, all the full details, whatever the council is going to be asked to decide, will be conducted in public meeting. But it's important to know, and Jan was describing the COLA, that's the cost of living adjustment, of which city employees are entitled to. And all those things are a matter of public record. So thank you for bringing us up to date.
Absolutely. And those COLAs and are disclosed in our budget presentation, and so I lost my thought, but it's all disclosed in the budget presentation. And this is what I was going to say. So we have a management team that meets with the unions, and we go through negotiation, but as you said, the negotiation team cannot approve the contract. It's the city council that approves that, and that is done in a public meeting.
Thank you, Jan. Mm-hmm. Jan Baum is our city manager again, and we appreciate your time in bringing us up to date, obviously, in that. You're okay with okay, good. Mm-hmm. Thought maybe she was getting a very important communication, but no, you're fine. Also on the agenda today for moving on, the request for qualifications, RFQs, for the water department, as this is ongoing with the modernization project, the installation of meters. Last time we checked in, the city was also researching the cost of sewer too, because that's also gone up in price.
Absolutely. Because a metered rate is based on the amount of water that you use, it's also reflected in the sewer rate because, and it's at a reduced rate. I believe 49% of the water that is used is estimated to go to the sewer system. So. So that's how that's been set up for quite a while. Like I said, we did a lot of research on this, and it's been in place for quite some time. When compared to some of the other entities around us, it's actually a low percentage, the 49%. But anyway, so that's a surprise to some of the residents. Of course, as we head into winter, there'll probably be a lot less complaints because that amount will decrease substantially. And so what this water department modernization project and this line item specifically are meter pits. And so most of the homes that we've done so far, they already had the meter pits built in. Those were done years ago during construction. And so the crews are our water department crews who work, they've just been really working hard on this project. They're just installing water meters. But as we move into like the tree streets, for example, they don't have the water pits yet, or the meter pits. And so this is a very large purchase, and we're excited to move along with this and get this done and get the meter pits coming so that we can move into different neighborhoods. I did talk to Jim Kerr, our utility director, this morning. And we are in the rolling hills type area up there by Enfield. And after this neighborhood is finished, they're actually going to move into our first commercial, like our business, some businesses. We haven't done, many of those yet. And so we will be moving into like that, the shopping center with Rayleigh's and, all of those businesses. So anyway, that's where we're moving into next.
All right. Mm-hmm. Well, thanks for the update. That water modernization plan could take a couple of years to complete everything in every neighborhood. Again, it's also rolled into the fees that we pay for water and sewer services. We discuss it a lot, and I'm sure there'll be another time, Jan, we'll bring Jim back in, and he can give us some more details. But this agenda item, as you said, this had to do with ordering those materials and the related equipment. The lowest responsive bidder was Ferguson Enterprises, mm-hmm. and the city will have about $2.8 million plus set aside to spend on that, right?
Yes, and the difference between the lowest bid and the second lowest bid was only like $63,000 in between Ferguson and Western Nevada. So very competitive bidding process, and we appreciate vendors that go through that process for us.
Yeah, and it's probably smart too. The city is doing this now because who knows with construction cost, city crews are doing the installation, I understand, but the cost of materials could be impacted by various factors going forward. So.
Absolutely, yeah. So it'll be good to lock this price in right now, and like you said, it could take us 2 to 3 years to get through this process, and thankfully we received funding from the state revolving fund and at a 1% interest rate, and so we are very fortunate to get that. Yep,
that's good price for money when you have to borrow that much. Jan is not only our city manager, but former financial services director for the city, so we can appreciate her view on that and a deep understanding of where city finances are directed. There's also final acceptance of the 12th Street Bridge maintenance repair project, and that's also pretty good news, right?
Absolutely. That project actually went fairly quickly. We had planned for a couple months for that project, and I believe it took a little over a month, and so which provided for some cost savings on the railroad flagging, which was going to be quite expensive. And I just was informed during our directors meeting that we might have to table this one. Apparently there are some payrolls that we haven't received, primarily for the railroad flagging, and because those need to be prevailing wage, and we have to make sure those are that those wage reports are in compliance with prevailing wages. And apparently there's there's some that haven't come in or something, and so we're working on that, but we might have to table that item. But the bridge looks great. I like how they painted the white, on the cement barriers on the sides. It looks I think it looks great.
Yeah, it looks sharp. Looks like it's been refurbished. So good news. Moving on to new business on the City Council agenda. The meeting is at 4 o'clock today, the regular council meeting. The RDA meeting opens at 3 o'clock. But under new business, there'll be consideration of filling the vacancy on the city's planning commission with the resignation of Tony O'Day. And you got at least 2 applicants, right?
We do. We have 2, what do I say? Able applicants, and I can't remember the name of both of them, but anyway, the council will have to decide between the two. There's only one opening, so it's nice to have some interest in serving on the boards, and so I'll be anxious to see who is our next planning commission member.
You're right. I should have printed off those names. There are two, and they are both qualified in unique ways.
Absolutely.
Yep, they're both male individuals. Not that that matters, but it's just of interest that both applicants. And this is a volunteer position, and you're appointed at the pleasure of the board. So you don't get any compensation for this, but as we'll see in an upcoming agenda item, planning commissioners play a very important role in representing the community and how they represent the community, Jan, and their demeanor. And it really takes a person that has a certain aptitude, maybe an attitude, because this can be a difficult position, right?
It really can be a difficult position, and they lay the grounds, I guess, for really enforcing or making sure that different businesses or whatever are in compliance with the code, and planning out how our city is laid out. And so it's a big job, and those meetings actually I think are very interesting, and there's a lot of different factors that come at them. Kathy Laughlin is our city planner, and she does a really good job at educating the planning commission, providing them the correct information and facts, and anyway, she does a really good job at providing information for the planning commission, and then they make some really influential decisions.
We'll talk a little bit about that, the last item on the agenda with our city manager, Jan Baum. But first, under new business 2, approving a request from Ruby Mountain Hot Air Inc., because they want to close off Sheeran Way for the Elko section of the Ruby Mountain Balloon Festival, which sounds like really fun. It's right there by the museum, right?
I think that will be fun, right? That'll be and it's their glow festival, and which is neat. It happens at night, and I understand that the Ruby Mountain Balloon Festival is just in town this year.
I think just in town. Mm-hmm. I understood
so that's a big change for them.
It is, and they're going to have an event in downtown Elko combined with their new Sippin' Saturday event. I understood it may have had something to do with conflicts for sports use out at the sports fields.
Oh, very well could be, right? Because it is sports season,
yes.
Middle of September, and most definitely soccer, and there's a lot of things going on, and football, and so anyway, the Balloon Festival is always just a wonderful, I really like that event. You get up early in the morning and look in the sky, and it's full of color, and it's just a fun event for our town. So excited for that, and I'm sure the council will approve them closing Chris Sheeran Way, but for sure we have to approach them about that.
Yep, it'll be September 19th through the 21st, I believe, are dates for the Balloon Festival. We'll be talking more about it, obviously. As September comes roaring in, there's going to be so much to do, Jan. It's crazy. And then an interlocal agreement. This is just an update. I went through and looked at the past and current agreements with the Northeastern Nevada Regional Development Authority, and NRDA has had some big wins recently, which is great for the local economy.
Absolutely. They have had some big wins with the Amazon facility that is coming into Wells, and oh my heavens, Sheldon Mudd. Yes, I had Mudd in my head and I couldn't get Sheldon out of there, but Sheldon does a nice job, and representing our entire community, and the city of Elko continues to work with Sheldon, and we look forward to the possibilities that he can bring to us in the future.
So this is just basically approval of an interlocal agreement, and it will take us right through 2031.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, it's a 5-year agreement, and it's very similar to the prior one that we agreed to sign as well. And so we'll see what the city council says about that. And actually, Sheldon's going to be there and give us a little update, so I look forward to that.
Yeah, these are always informative. So again, that's on the regular council agenda. The board meets at 4 o'clock today. They're probably getting through a lot of that pretty quickly in time for the public hearing at 5:30. Probably the bigger issue on the agenda today, because again, anytime there's an appeal, this one's significant, coming back from the Planning Commission rejection. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is getting ready to open the temple for tours this week before the temple is then, I believe the word is consecrated, and then will be dedicated just for use by Latter-day Saint faithful. But the community will be invited to tour the temple this week, and I understand there'll be a special guest from Carson City scheduled. So
I've heard about that.
I've heard about that too.
A little rumbling about that.
Hopefully, we can get our cybersecurity issues resolved.
Oh, he's probably a busy man this week.
So
it's
hopefully it all,
unfortunate.
yes, hopefully it all falls into place. But the church is on the agenda because they are appealing a rejection by the Planning Commission for the golf net. Now, again, the golf net ranged as proposed from 25 feet in height to 127 feet in height, and this is up for recent discussion here at 5:30 tonight at City Hall.
Absolutely. So since it is a public hearing, public hearings are always at 5:30. And and it is a public hearing, so it has, a set schedule or agenda for itself. And
The city attorney runs it.
yes, he does,
Yes,
right?
so
And he'll
it can
come in
feel
and-
intimidating, but
It's kind of a different, and we've had two. We had one at the last meeting, and then now we have another hearing at this one. And so both sides, per se, of the appeal will give their, give their side of I believe that Kathy Laughlin, who is the city planner, she will give the facts of what happened at the Planning Commission meeting and the support that the Planning Commission gave for their denial. And then I'm sure the Church of Latter-day Saints will give their reason for appeal and the facts for their appeal. And then it'll go through a little process, and the public is more than welcome to come and voice their opinions one way or the other, or support for their opinions. Sometimes I think that that's important for people to give support for their opinions. And then the city council will deliberate and give their opinion, I guess, or their motion. So they can affirm the Planning Commission's opinion or stance, or they can modify it, or they can reverse it. And so, but they have to act on what the city or what the Planning Commission acted on. So they can't go off into a whole different direction and say, we want you to do it a whole different way, and no net, but just do it a different way. It's about the net. And so we just have to stay focused on that, and which I'm sure they will. Dave will be there, Dave Stanton, our appointed official, our legal appointed official. And then Michael Hanley, who works in their office as well, he will lead the city council through the process.
So it is a process, and the city council, they will be, it's just as if it were a courtroom. They issue the verdict, if you will, but they just will issue their decision and vote on that, and again in a public session. And it is kind of a fascinating process, but it does give the two sides the chance to air the pros and cons of the issue, and there is a chance for public comment, but it is all very orchestrated. So people should just know that this is an opportunity to really put our best foot forward and show what's good about our community, how we can resolve our differences, how we can really improve things, we want people to feel welcome to come to Elko and to build and develop, but then also to understand, that there are standards or, what the views of our residents might be. Jan, we're trying to be inclusive here, right?
Absolutely. And I think that what is important is for people to participate, right? So it's one thing to be on the street and complain about it, but it's another thing to come to the process, understand the process, and be involved in it. And so if somebody has a strong opinion or evidence why it should be one way or the other, come and participate. So I think it's a good process. I think that the city council will do a good job. I think they'll listen to both sides, and they'll deliberate, like I said, and they'll discuss it, and they'll ask questions, and they'll ask for proof or, whatever. And I think that it'll be a very good process, and they will come up with whatever their motion is, and as city staff, what the city council wishes for this. I don't know how to say it, but we will definitely fulfill their wishes for sure. So whatever happens, we'll go forward with it.
Yep, it'll be carried out, unless I guess it would otherwise be challenged. But let's not go there, because
I hope it isn't challenged again. I hope that we resolve it, and on both parties are happy with the process and resolved, and we go forward.
Yeah, I mean, boiling it down, it seems as though Planning Commission ruled on the side of aesthetics. A lot of residents, people who live near the golf course, do not appreciate the idea of a 127-foot net, separating the church grounds from the public golf course. And then the church's position has been safety. They don't want to see people harmed going to or from the house of worship, the temple, in that case. So, yeah, it'll make for an interesting discussion, and it's a way to participate in democracy. It can really show us where we shine, and it's something worth preserving and participating in, I think, Jan. So
I totally agree, and I think that's how we get through different obstacles. We discuss them, and we get through, and we compromise, or it's important for people to be educated on why things happen, or why different parties require different things. And so it'll be a good process.
Jan, thanks so much. Again, the regular council meeting opens at 4. The public hearing on the golf course net issue, that will begin at 5:30 p.m. You can participate in person in City Hall at 1751 College Avenue, or online, elkocitynv.gov, and you can watch the proceedings there. Thank you, Jan. There have been lots of meetings on this, by the way. I didn't want to leave that out, that there has been a lot of work done behind the scenes, so hopefully tonight just goes very smoothly.
Absolutely. I think that at the Planning Commission meeting, when the church, and I'm just saying this because they have said this, when they presented at the Planning Commission meeting, they didn't have as many facts and backup and things like that available for the Planning Commission, and I believe they'll have a little bit more today, and I think it'll be a good discussion.
Jan Baum is our city manager. Thank you, Jan, and have a great meeting today. Thank you, listeners, for being on the program listening today. We appreciate it.